2 weeks passed and I had been avoiding Marcus. I slept on his bed every day, snuggling closer to him, but that was it. He asked me several times what the matter was, but I just said that I was busy with the upcoming contest. He had been nothing but kind to me, and I had been an asshole. I hadn't realized that my insecurities were slowly hurting him. I avoided eye contact with him when we worked together in the same room. I always had lunch with my staff. We talked only a few words each day, and it was mostly work-related. These feelings conjuring up inside me were hard to restrain day by day. I wished that I had the confidence to go and talk to him about this, but me being the miserable human being I was could never muster up the courage to go ahead with it. Okay, that's it. Marcus slammed his files on the table with a loud thud. I jumped back in my seat, surprised by the sudden outburst. Marcus turned and looked at me while fidgeting with the pen in his hand. Anger was clear on his beautiful face, and his anger was directed towards me. "Tell me what's wrong with you right now, and don't you dare lie to me about it," he ordered with irritation laced in his voice. "I told you it's the Conti." He suddenly stood up, his chair flying back. His handsome, chiseled face contorted with ferocious anger as he glared at me with his piercing eyes. "No, it's not. I know it's not. Tell me what's bothering you." He was the reason why I was feeling this, but I couldn't blame it on him. He didn't show any signs that he loved me, and it angered me. What was so wrong with me that he couldn't even feel any love towards me? I stood up from my chair and replied back. "It's none of your business. We are gonna divorce anyway. Why do you care?" His jaw tightened and his fists clenched at his sides, turning his knuckles white. He strode furiously towards me and held me harshly by my wrist. "It is my business, and I told you not to lie to me." He spat angrily. His grip tightened around my wrist, bruising it. I whined in pain, trying to yank it back. I struggled against his strong grip, but he was too strong for me. "Marcus, you are hurting me," I whined, crying out in pain. He quickly pulled his hand away and looked at my wrist in shock. He ran his fingers through his hair, pulling a few strands, annoyed with himself. His gaze fell on my wrist, and worry filled his eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." He held my hand and massaged my wrist with his thumb, making small circles to soothe the pain. He leaned his forehead on mine and whispered an apology in my ear. "Marcus. I'm sorry." He leaned back, surprised at my words. His eyes searched mine for answers, and I bit of lip, embarrassed under his scrutinizing gaze. "Can you tell me what's been bothering you?" I wish I could, but it was not the right time. I needed to know if he liked me so that neither of us would get hurt. All I needed was time to figure everything out. "Can you give me some time? Then I will tell you." I looked into his eyes pleadingly. He exhaled a long breath in defeat and nodded his head. "Fine, but please tell me when it's the right time." He searched my eyes for confirmation, and I gave him a small nod in return. "Are we good?" he asked hopefully. "Yeah, we are," I said with a small smile, and he mirrored my action. "The contest starts next week, and we will be boarding the ship tomorrow morning for preparations." We were both waiting at the harbor for Clara's arrival. Marcus's arm was draped around my waist as we leaned on the car expecting her majestic entrance. It had been an hour, and all our staff were starting to get irritated. The staff of the Boltons were also here, and they looked equally frustrated. My breath hitched as Marcus closed his eyes and rested his head on my shoulder. I didn't know what to do, so I kept my head straight, ignoring the tingling feeling inside me. He tugged me to his chest, pulling me closer, inhaling my scent. His head nuzzled in the crook of my neck, eliciting a deep desire in me as his tender skin made contact with mine. "You smell so good." I was rendered speechless. I looked to my left to see Sarah giving me a cheeky thumbs up. Her face was pulled into a huge, playful grin as she cheered me on. I narrowed my eyes at her and gestured her to quit it. She chuckled and nudged Steve, who looked equally delighted to see me and Marcus together. They had been cuddling together for these past 2 weeks, and I didn't want to think about what they had been doing in detail. A bright red car pulled up, and one of the most annoying person on earth stepped out. She had a flashy grin on her lips, but soon it darkened in anger seeing Marcus's head on my shoulder. "She's here," I whispered quietly, and Marcus groaned in irritation. "Don't put a loving husband act in front of me, Marcus. I know you more than she does. Just because I was with you for one night doesn't mean you know me. And please, can we not drag personal matters into this right now?" Marcus asked with anger lacing his voice. With an eye roll, she huffed and walked past us. "You were only with her for one night?" I asked, surprised, since I had thought that he was a playboy who just seeked pleasure. "Did you think I slept around?" he asked, equally shocked at my question. "I don't know. It's not possible to love her, so I thought you hung out with her for sex." I tried explaining, but it only made things worse. "No, I don't do that. She was there in my hotel that night and can we just drop this? I don't want to fight with you again." I nodded, looking down. The past few days I had been like a pregnant woman with frequent mood swings, all because of one simple yet dangerous feeling. Love. "Come, let's go." He dragged me and we boarded to the ship with the others. The designers I had recruited while I was in Germany were already here. The media would also be here soon to have a conference regarding the contest, and I was more than eager to see the moment they questioned Clara. She would probably try to dodge every question, and I would love to see her squirming in embarrassment. The staff in the ship showed us to our cabin. We walked in and saw a king-size bed placed by the window while a narrow wall separated the bed and the blue couch. The tall glass windows filtered sunlight into the room, giving an ambient glow to the high-end furniture. Picture above, I pulled my hair into a bun and sauntered towards the comfy bed by the window. "You and the glass windows," I laughed, pointing to the windows overlooking the sea. "You realized?" Marcus asked, surprised. "Of course there are always huge glass windows in every room you go," I said teasingly. "I don't like closed places. You could even say that I have a slight case of claustrophobia." "Why?" Marcus didn't answer and glanced at the sea with a glint of pain in his eyes. I didn't want to pressure him if he didn't want to tell me. My heart ached in pain, realizing that he didn't trust me enough to tell me his personal matters. Marcus sat on the bed and leaned his head on the headboard, looking exhausted. "Let's take a nap before going to the press conference." "No, you take one. I'm going to watch TV." I pointed to the TV and turned to walk away from the bed. "No, you come here," Marcus ordered mischievously. "What? There's plenty of water for you to look at," I said in a mock tone, pointing at the bright green sea. Before I could say anything else, he pulled me to the bed by my wrist. I landed on top of him with a loud gasp. Our faces were inches apart. I looked at him to see a smug look plastered on his face along with a victorious shine. His hand traveled to the back of my head and unclasped my hair tea, allowing my soft curls to fan around us. Marcus's eyes glowed brighter as he tucked a loose strand behind my ear. "Beautiful," he whispered softly, and I blushed a deep shade of red. He chuckled softly, seeing me blush, and stroked my chin, evoking tingling feelings inside me. My hands were on either side of him, balancing my body so that I wouldn't fall on him. "What are you doing?" I whispered skeptically. "I'm preventing you from watching TV. You can't stop me." I narrowed my eyes and glared at him. Why not? Before I could stand up, he wrapped an arm around my back, tugging me to his chest. His arm tightened around me, protectively crushing me against him as I struggled to get up while laughing hilariously, but he wrapped both of his hands around my back and held me tightly, providing me no escape. He took my chin by his fingers and tilted my face upwards. His eyes sparkled with desire as he stared into mine. The touch of his tender skin on mine caught me breathless as I stared at his mesmerizing eyes. He leaned forward slightly as if to kiss me, but a loud knock on the door interrupted us. "Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, you are needed at the lobby immediately." We rushed down to see the reporters here already as Clara made a scene at the lobby. She had slapped an actress who had come here to publicize our event. They were both screaming at each other while the media took endless photos. "You bitch, how dare you do that?" Clara gave out an ear-piercing scream. "You think that you're a queen? Just look at yourself in the mirror." The actress screamed back and they started pulling each other's hair. Marcus groaned in annoyance. "Can this possibly get any worse?" We quickly jogged down the stairs and rushed to the scene, avoiding the media who were bombarding us with questions. "What the hell are you doing?" I quickly pushed back Clara before she could attack the actress again. "This bitch needs to go!" Clara yelled furiously. "She came with us to help this event, so no, we can't do that, and you can't be behaving like this," I yelled through gritted teeth. "You don't tell me what to do. I'm hosting this event, so I can." Marcus suddenly hauled Clara back and wrapped his arm around her shoulders, trying to calm her down. "Clara, calm down, the media is here. Don't cause a scene." I was baffled by what was happening before me, and I was rendered speechless for a moment before I started laughing like a mad woman. Says the one who is making a scene? With that, I scoffed and stomped away from the lobby angrily. "Camilla." I heard Marcus's footsteps behind me, but I kept walking to the deck without looking back. "Camilla." Marcus called again, but I ignored him. He yanked me back harshly by my arm and turned me towards him. "Camilla, just listen to me." "What is there to listen to?" I spat angrily. "Why are you always getting angry?" "Why am I getting angry?" "That's because you make me angry." I pointed an accusing finger at him and pushed him back. "Why did you even bother coming here? Go and help your whore calm down," I yelled furiously. "I don't even get why you are so mad about it." I couldn't believe that he had just said that. It seemed like he just considered me to be an annoying business deal and nothing else. My blood boiled in anger at the thought. I am your fucking wife, and I can't just sit and watch while my husband cheats on me, I hissed through gritted teeth. "Do you think I like her?" he yelled back strenuously. "Well then, I guess she's your nice friend." I rolled my eyes and scoffed sarcastically. "I did everything to her out of good heart." "Oh my God, my heart is melting. You do have good heart." I laughed as I mocked him. "Camilla," he spat firmly. "So everything you did to me was out of good heart. Tell me all these kind words, all these hugs, and everything you did to me was out of good heart. Or am I someone you use to control your nightmares?" "Why are you jumping to conclusions like that?" he yelled. "So, what are you telling me that you meant everything, and that you were really going to kiss me a few minutes ago? What a joke." I scoffed, folding my hands in front of me. "Yes, I was really going. Kiss you." I blinked deliberately. "Wha?" Before I could finish my sentence, he pulled me by my arm and pressed me close to his chest. He looked deep into my eyes as he cupped my face, gently angling my lips to his. He leaned down and pressed his soft, luscious lips against mine, making my eyes flutter shut as our lips molded together in perfect symphony. His lips moved against mine in heart-clenching passion, making me forget why I was angry in the first place. He bit my lower lip gently as he tried to part them, and I did, allowing him to taste every single part of me. My hands moved up to tangle in the dark strands of his hair as he kissed me fervently. His tongue darted out, trailing over my lips with deep desire building up a moan inside me. I continued raking my fingers through his soft curls as he deepened the kiss, pressing me closer. He slowly pulled away, allowing enough space for us to breathe. I looked into his bright green eyes to see them craving with desire. His hand trailed behind my back to my hair as he leaned forward to press his lips lightly to my forehead. The kiss lingered longer than usual, igniting a lustful passion within me. "Marcus," I whispered slowly as we both panted desperately for air. "I don't want to fight with you," he mumbled against my hair, his chest heaving up and down. He leaned back and cupped my face in his hands. "I'll go down and deal with the media. Just stay here and calm yourself for a bit." I nodded and looked down, trying to hide the blush in my cheeks. As soon as he left, I trailed my fingers over my plump red lips in shock. I couldn't believe that he had just kissed me, and to be honest, it was the most amazing feeling ever. A small smile crept up my lips, and I covered my mouth with my hands, trying to stop the giggle demanding to be let out. I walked over to the railing and stared at the vast sea as the wind ruffled my hair. I felt as if someone had just untangled a tight knot in my chest. From the corner of my eye, I saw Sarah approaching me. "Oh, here you are. Mr. Anderson took care of everything. He is good at this. He gave an amazing explanation of what just happened, and the media seemed to believe him," Sarah said, looking delighted. I lifted my eyes to her, and she narrowed her eyes as she observed my face. "Did you just get kissed?" I blushed again, looking embarrassed as she asked those words. "Oh my God, you did! You did!" She clapped her hands and jumped up and down happily. "Mr. Anderson finally loves you." Hearing that, my mood suddenly soured. "No, he doesn't." "What do you mean?" Sarah crunched up her nose in confusion. "We just kissed. He didn't say he loved me." "Oh, it's the first step, dear. He will tell you." She patted my back, reassuring me. "How do you know?" "Steve was the same. He kissed me before confessing." "Then what happened?" "I asked him why he kissed me." She surely had guts to ask that when I would be squirming in embarrassment. "He said Mother Nature tells him to be with me." She kept her hands on her hips and exclaimed in annoyance. "What the hell?" "Yeah, I know, but later on he said he loved me. And it will work out obviously for you too. Hell, you guys are even married. He will divorce me when we become stable." I tried to reason. "You're really stupid, aren't you?" She raised her eyebrows in annoyance and shook her head to show that I'm really stupid. "I'm your boss. I don't care, dear." With that, she dragged me away to the press conference, and all I could think about was how I was going to face him again. I was walking down the hall with Marcus beside me. We had just finished the press conference, and some of them were mostly interested about the drama that just happened a few minutes ago. The rest of the companies will be arriving tomorrow with their models. The judges from France are to be arrived on the first day. The girls will be residing in the floor below us. They were amateur models that we selected from 3 rounds in the auditions. The purpose of the contest is to highlight each company's brand and to make these young people shine. It's every inexperienced model's dream to get into the contest to prove their value, since a bright future is waiting for them after this. The contest will be streamed all around the country like a reality show. The boys will be residing at the other end of the ship since drama is expected, and I made sure Clara's room was far away from them. I haven't talked to Marcus since the kiss. We were both busy preparing for the conference, but now it all ended, and all I wanted was to shrink back to the other end of the world. I was following Marcus and didn't pay attention to where he was going. "We are here." I looked up to see where we are, and we were nowhere near our room. We were at the restaurant in the top floor. Marcus kept his hand on my back and led me to the table near the railing. I sat down surprised as why he was bringing me here. Today he caught me off guard several times. First the kiss, and then this romantic dinner date, or maybe just dinner would be the appropriate word. "Why are we here?" "To eat, obviously." "Of course, silly me." I laughed sarcastically, but before I could embarrass myself further, the waiter came with the menu. We ordered a bottle of wine with our food. I was staring at the sunset the entire time, unable to meet his eyes. I felt his eyes on me while we were waiting for our food. He cleared his throat, pulling me out of my trance. "The food is here." He gestured to the plates on the table. "Oh, cool. Let's dig in." I took the cutlery in my hand, but I dozed off staring at Marcus's plate. It was full of vegetables. No meat at all. Does it take time for vegetarian people to process their feelings? "Stop staring at my plate," he said with a small laugh. "I'm not staring at your plate," I said, while still staring at his plate as my heart questioned my brain. He snapped his fingers before my eyes, and I jumped back, startled. "What was that for?" I scrunched up my nose in annoyance. "You were staring at my food," he said in an obvious tone with a small smirk playing on his lips. "What food?" The food arrived. I asked, dumbfounded, as I stared at the plates before me. Holy moly, how did the food suddenly appear on the table? I was sure that it wasn't here a moment ago, and then I looked at my hands to see that I was holding a knife and a fork. "When did I hold this? You okay? What me oh? I'm always okay." I gave him a Cheshire grin, trying to hide how dumb I look right now. This was the first time I looked him in the eyes after the kiss. He was much more handsome to me than before. He was a good kisser. I should give him credits for that. Does the kiss mean he loves me? "Are you still thinking about the kiss?" he asked in a playful tone. Well, oh my God, look at the food. It's delicious. My mouth is already watering. We should dig in before it gets cold. I looked at my food delightedly as I ignored his question. I prayed to the God asking him to stitch Marcus's mouth so that I can have a moment of peace. "You are ignoring the question," he said, giving a chuckle. Oh my fudge. I was sure my face was red as Taylor Swift's lips in blank space. He raised his eyebrows expectantly, waiting for an answer. "You don't have meat in you plate." I started rambling something totally unrelated. "But I have meat," I said, pointing to my plate. He chuckled and shook his head, seeing how stupid I am. "So?" he asked with amusement glinting in his eyes. "What do you mean so, here meet Marcus?" "Marcus meet," I said as I introduced each other. Marcus threw his head back and laughed loudly, earning a scowl from me. "You know you are cute, right?" As if I just didn't hear him say that, I started gulping my food in a rush while looking at my plate intently. I heard him chuckle before he started eating his food. I didn't utter a single word throughout the dinner as I was deeply embarrassed. After dinner, I walked behind Marcus with my head bent low. I didn't see where I was going as I bumped into a hard wall. I look up to see which wall interrupted my precious thoughts, but I was met with Marcus's chest. I looked up to his eyes, and he was looking down at me with a smirk. We were at our door, and Marcus opened it with a card. I dashed inside and quickly took my clothes out of the suitcases so that I can wash and sleep before him. I was on my way to the bathroom, but he held his hand tightly on the bathroom doorknob. "I'm going first." "What, I came in first, so I'm going," I argued back. "Don't care." Then he left and came with his clothes. I was standing at the door with a frown visible on my face, and I was startled as he leaned down and pecked my lips. Chuckling at my shocked face, he opened the door and went inside, giving me a playful smile. What the hell just happened? I pretended to watch TV, not paying any attention to whatever was on the screen. He came out wearing dark sweat shorts and a white t-shirt, looking gorgeous as ever. I quickly bolted to the bathroom without looking back. I talked to myself in the mirror for several times to grasp what was happening. Slowly opening the door, I peeked through the space to see where Marcus was. The lights were already off, and I saw Marcus on the bed playing with his phone. I walked in tiptoes, trying my best not to make a sound. I quickly jumped under the sheets and wrapped it around me tightly like a caterpillar in a cocoon. Marcus turned his head and looked at me with a frown. "What are you doing?" "Going to sleep." "Come," he said, while stretching his arm on the pillow. "Come where?" "Keep your head on my arm." "What? The pillow is comfortable." "Don't care. Come," he ordered more authoritatively. I scooted to his side and laid my head on his arm. He curled it, bringing my head to his chest. He gently nuzzled his nose in my hair and started stroking it. "Do you regret it?" he mumbled in my hair. "Regret what?" I asked slowly, not having any idea of what he meant. "Kissing me." I was taken aback by his question. It was the most amazing thing that happened to me, and regret was nowhere near of what I felt back then. I slowly shook my head, giving him a no. "Good. Then I will keep on doing it." "Doing what?" "Kissing you." My breath hitched as those words left his mouth. I looked up to meet his eyes and saw that he was staring at me with adoration. "Sleep, my angel." With that, he kissed my head and closed his eyes, pulling me closer. I stood in front of my models who came in today morning, 5 female and 5 male. 4 other companies, including Bolton's, will be arriving shortly. 10 models will be competing from each company. Altogether, 50 people will be participating in the contest. I was ogling at the toned chests of the male models before Marcus cleared his throat in irritation. "What?" I snapped my head, annoyed that he had interrupted my thoughts. "You're checking them out," Marcus hissed quietly so that they won't hear. "So what? They're hot." "So you want me to look at the girls too? Their hips, their big breasts." Before he could finish the sentence, I smacked his lips with my hand angrily. "Don't." "Then you don't too." He huffed and fixed his suit. Rolling my eyes, I turned to the models. "Hello, my name is Camilla Anderson, and my husband and I will be sponsoring you. If one of you win the contest, you will be given a grand prize. You will also have a promising future ahead of you if you give it your best. 1 or 2 of you will be recruited into my company, but you should last longer in the competition. Give your best, and please try not to disappoint me." They all nodded in agreement. Sarah handed out their schedules of what they will be doing from Friday onwards. They were not supposed to meet the rest of the competitors till Friday. They will be taken into separate cabins on our floor. Marcus and I were supposed to treat them to dinner tonight, and the photographers would be coming tomorrow for a photo shoot. I talked to each and every female model, while Marcus talked to the males. He kept me far away from them as if I would just run and kiss them. After a long talk, I jogged to my room and slumped on the bed, exhausted. I needed a nap before the others arrived, and my eyes were already fluttering shut. "You know you can't sleep right now. We have a lot of work to do." I opened my eyes to see Marcus standing by the bed, his arms crossed in front of his chest. "That's why you're here. Go and take care of it," I said sleepily as I yawned, stretching my arms to the furthest I could. How come you get to rest and I don't? Because you are a piece of wood. I opened my eyes expecting to see a scowl on his face, but he suddenly got onto the bed, a playful smirk playing on his lips as he locked my legs between his. He rested his hands on either side of the bed, providing me with no escape. Leaning in, his eyes traveled from my lips to my throat in lust and fervor. He bent down and started pressing soft kisses over my jaw and throat, groaning softly as he gently sucked my collarbone. I was shocked for a moment before tilting my head to the side, allowing him more access to the crook of my neck. He took the cue and gently started sucking it, pleasuring me with his every touch. I resumed raking my fingers through his soft hair as I pulled him closer to me. My eyes fluttered shut, releasing a moan from my lips at the pleasure he was giving me. I felt his body slightly tense before letting out a low growl, gently nibbling my earlobe. I'm sorry. We both snapped our heads to the sound at the door. Andrew, one of our contestants, was standing at the door looking down in embarrassment. The embarrassment I felt was unbearable, so I pushed Marcus away from me. He stood on his knees on the bed and glared at Andrew angrily. "What are you doing here?" "I'm sorry the door was not locked, so I thought it would be okay." I asked, "What are you doing here?" Marcus spat, looking angrier than ever. "Sarah told me to tell you that the Harringtons have arrived. Okay, you may go." The boy quickly scurried out the door, looking frightened as if he had just met Lucifer himself. "You didn't lock the door," I roared in anger, and he just shrugged his shoulders, not caring at all. "He saw us?" I complained while pointing at the door. "Does it matter? We are married anyways." "Of course it matters. How am I supposed to face them now? Aren't you even embarrassed? Why would I be? Did he loose a nut in his brain? Because he saw us? Don't care. It's good that he saw." "What the hell? Why?" I asked, shocked. "Because then they will know that you are mine." My eyes widened in surprise, and I blinked deliberately, trying to grasp what he had just said. "Come, let's go." With that, he stood up and walked to the door. I quickly brushed my hair and followed him. His hair was messy, and he was not doing anything to fix it. If he doesn't care, then why should I? My brain hurts just by thinking about what he meant. I couldn't believe that he just said that I was his. And before I could go crazy, I decided to ask him, "What do you mean by I'm yours?" "It means you are mine," he said plainly, as if it was just a completely normal sentence. "Yeah, what does that mean?" "It means you belong to me." "That doesn't make any sense. I'm mine. I belong to myself." "That doesn't go well," he said, shrugging his shoulders lazily. "Yeah, and me belonging to you doesn't go well either." "It does. And if not, who do you belong to?" "I. To me, of course." "What kind of logic is that? It's unfair." I tried to reason out, even though knowing that the narcissist koala bear won't understand it. "No, it's not." "Then you belong to me," I said as I held my head high, trying to look intimidating. "I'm fine with that." "Oh my God, you are so annoying," I scoffed and walked past him furiously. I turned my head to look at his disheveled hair. "You hair is messy," I called out and turned back to walk ahead. "Fix it." I suddenly stopped and took a full turn to look at him in shock. Did he just tell me to fix his hair? Is he a baby? "You have hands. Fix it yourself." "I don't have eyes in my head. Do I?" He raised his eyebrows and said in an obvious tone. I rolled my eyes and walked towards him. I ran my fingers over his soft, luscious curls as I fixed his messy hair, pulling at the strands and combing it up, enjoying the feel of it in my hand. It was so soft, and he was looking so cute with his disheveled hair falling onto his eyes. I had the sudden urge to glue my fingers to his hair so that I can enjoy this feeling endlessly. While I was fixing it, I saw Marcus looking at me intently with a victorious smile tugged at the corners of his lips. He suddenly wrapped his arm around my waist and pulled me into his chest. He leaned in, giving me a long, lingering kiss on my lips, while I stood there utterly shocked. He gently bit my lower lip before pulling back with a smirk playing on his face. "Okay, everything is complete. Let's go." He winked and dragged me to the lobby by my wrist. Smith and Taylor Harrington were waiting at the entrance with a genuine smile on their faces as they talked with my staff. Their models were behind them, ready to be taken into their respective cabins. I saw some of them checking out Marcus while whispering and giggling, probably talking about his looks. If I were them, I probably would have done the same thing. He was too hot to go unnoticed. I looked at Marcus and saw him staring at me, his chest puffed to the front in pride. He raised his eyebrows and gestured to the girls in front of us with a mischievous smirk. "Oh, please don't flatter yourself. You are not that handsome. Really, do you think I haven't noticed how you check me out whenever I come out after a shower?" I blushed like a tomato and cleared my throat loudly, almost choking as I tried to put on an act. Marcus leaned down and teasingly bit my earlobe, to which I gasped loudly in shock. "Let's not make the Harringtons wait," Marcus whispered with a husky voice, and stared at me with amusement for a while before dragging me to the Harringtons. The Harringtons were people that I liked. They weren't cunning and bitchy like the Boltons. Smith and Taylor had been married for some time, and they were a very lovely couple. We talked with them for some time, and behind them I saw Sarah hurrying towards us. She stopped in front of me and panted loudly, clutching onto her chest as she tried to talk. "What is it?" "The models of the Boltons are here." "Okay. Why are you so shocked? Because Mr. Brandon Maitland came with them?" I saw Marcus's forehead creasing into a frown as he saw the messy blonde hair walking through the entrance. "Isn't that Brandon Maitland?" I nodded in surrender. My life couldn't get any worse than it already was. Clara and Brandon, the two people I hated the most in the world, were under one roof with me for one whole month. "We met him in Florida, right?" I nodded again to his question and scowled, seeing the annoying face smirking at me while talking to the Harringtons. "How do you know him?" "He's my ex." He snapped his head at me as the words left my mouth. "How long did you date him?" "I don't know. Probably for 3 months. "Did you love him?" It was my turn to snap my head at him. "Why do you care?" I asked while raising my eyebrows in amusement. "Answer the damn question." He used his authoritative tone once again, his fist clenching in anger. "Geez, calm down. I thought I did, but later on I realized that it wasn't love. I just had him because everyone had boyfriends back then." I looked at Marcus to see his tensed shoulders relaxing at my words. "What if I had loved him?" I asked curiously, a small, victorious smirk playing on my lips. "I got him." "He's a piece of shit that doesn't deserve love." "How do you say so? Men know men, and women know women too. How does it relate to this?" he asked while crunching up his nose in confusion. "Because I know that Clara is not nice." "Oh my God. I used one word, and you are still thinking about it? Yes, because you described her incorrectly? That?" We were interrupted by Brandon, who stood before us beaming at me. "Hey, love," he said with a mischievous smile playing on his good-for-nothing ugly lips. When I furrowed my eyebrows in anger, he gave a wink in return. "What do you want?" Marcus spat angrily, glaring at Brandon. The fake husband again," Brandon said with an eye roll, and I looked at Marcus to see him shaking in anger, his hands balled into fists, ready to punch whoever provoked him. "What can't handle the truth?" Brandon gave a lopsided grin. At his words, Marcus's face hardened, a vein popping out of his neck. His hand suddenly gripped Brandon's neck, squeezing it tightly, suffocating him. Brandon clutched on to Marcus's hand, trying to yank it away, but failed miserably. "Say it again." He lowered his head to Brandon and hissed through gritted teeth. "Marcus, there are people here." I tried yanking back the hand he had around Brandon, but he was too strong for me. "Marcus," I whispered in panic. He slowly removed his hand from Brandon and held mine instead. "Talk to her, and you are dead." With that, Marcus dragged me back to our room. He shut the door with a loud thud and sat on the couch. He kept his head on his palms and inhaled sharply, anger fuming through his body. "God, I hate him," he mumbled quietly. I walked towards the couch and sat beside him, hunching my shoulders slightly so that I can look at his face hidden under his hands. "We can't be in the room right now. We have guests." "I know. Just let me calm down for a second." He then leaned his head on my lap and closed his eyes, nuzzling his face on my stomach. I brought my hand to his hair and stroked it gently, a small smile forming on my lips as I raked my fingers through his soft curls. His hair was something I could never get enough of. I wondered how the rest of his body parts would feel under my touch. Suddenly, my cheeks blushed at the wild thoughts creeping up my mind. God, I have such a dirty mind. Have mercy on me. "Marcus, we have to go." He murmured and wrapped an arm around my waist, snuggling closer to me. "Marcus." Fine. You're so annoying." He sat on the couch, leaving me cold without his heat on my lap. My vulgar mind whimpered in pain, asking Marcus to come back to me, but I quickly pushed the thought away. "Let's go." I started to get up, but he grabbed my hand and pulled me back. "What?" Marcus leaned in and pecked the side of my neck. "I don't want other men looking at you," he mumbled quietly, shocking me with each word. I didn't know what to do, so I kept my hands on my lap, holding them tightly to keep myself steady. Marcus looked at my face through scrutinizing eyes, his gaze lingering longer on each feature. "What happened to you?" "You hated me when we first got married." I joked to clear the awkward, heated atmosphere around us. "True, I hated you." My face fell at his words. I didn't hate him, just disliked him. Hate is a strong word, and it hurts to hear it from him. "But not anymore." "What changed?" I asked curiously. "Lot of things. Maybe starting from the night at the elevator in Germany." I rummaged through my brain, trying to remember what had happened back then. It was the one of the days his nightmares got out of control, but I was confused. I didn't do anything extraordinary for him to hate me less. Just consoled him with some cheap words. "I didn't do anything that day. You did, and you don't know how much it meant to me. I can never repay you for that, Camilla." I was unsure of what to say because I didn't know what he was talking about. Before I could say anything, he grabbed my arm and pulled me off the couch. "Let's go now." The Reeds and the Lesters were already here, waiting at the lobby. I drew my brows together, giving Marcus an accusing look. Our guests had already arrived, and we couldn't welcome them. It was very disrespectful of us to do it. Marcus rolled his eyes and quickly joined in a conversation, lightening up everyone's mood. Seems like he has this magical air around him which made the guests forget that we had just stood them up. Lucky. We walked to a room with a long table and talked till late evening about the programs that would be happening within the month. I was surprised of how well Marcus had adapted to my business world. He was used to hotels, not clothing brands. He contacted his company often to check on how his hotels were doing. To handle other stuff in Anderson Cooperations, Steve left the ship on the very first day. Marcus thought that it was dangerous for me to be by myself, so he didn't leave and helped me with my work. I doubt he would leave me with all the males on board. After a long discussion, we went to the restaurant to meet our models. Andrew quickly looked away guiltily, seeing us. Marcus sat at the head of the table while I sat beside him. "You look very pretty, Mrs. Anderson," the boy who sat in front of me said. "Thank you, Luke. I like what you wear. You really knows how to dress fashionably." He continued talking even though I gave him an uninterested look, knowing that the volcano beside me would explode any moment. "I think you have better things to do than focus on what my wife is wearing." Marcus spat angrily while glaring at the poor Luke, who looked scared out of his shit. "Come on, he was just being nice to me," I teased, earning an angrier glare from Marcus. "So people enjoy the food. You won't have time to rest after the contest starts. Each and every one of you will be pairing up with someone from another team. You are not allowed to have any romantic affairs with someone in your own team, but you can with a person from another team for the purpose of creating drama since it's a reality show," I said cheerfully. "So other reality shows where couples fall in love are also for the purpose of publicity?" Luke asked, astonished. "Well, most are. It all happens to a script. Maybe you can find your true love or whatsoever, but it shouldn't cause any problem for the contest. I'd prefer if you don't have any affairs with anyone, since it will only hinder your chance at winning this." All nodded their heads in agreement. "You will be having a photo shoot tomorrow, and the theme is the beach." "Ma'am, look at him. He looks so hot without his shirt." "Oh my God, look, water droplets are dripping down his torso. God, I think I'm dying." Sarah groaned in excitement. "I like that guy better. He even has dimples. Look," I said, pointing to the male models who were having the photo shoot. "I'm getting a tingly feelings between my thighs," Anna said, while taking a long breath to calm herself. "Ma'am, 10 o'clock, Sarah whispered in my ear in a rush. "What? Look." I looked to my left, and I saw Marcus in the corner of the room, his jaw clenched in anger as he stared at me with fire burning in his eyes. I closed my mouth with my hand as I tried to stop the giggle escaping my lips. I liked seeing him jealous. It made me feel reassured that he at least had some kind of feeling towards me. We kissed, but he didn't confess. He's been doing all the sweet things that lovers do, but he hasn't confessed. After all this is over, I would ask him for the reason behind all these complicated gestures. I hopped over to him merrily for the purpose of mocking him. "What possessive much?" "Can't help it," he said in a very serious tone, looking ahead. "It was supposed to be a joke and you were supposed to deny it." "Why would I deny something that's true? You have no humor." "So annoying," I said in accusation with irritation evident in my voice. "I have been getting a lot angrier since I came here." He sighed and closed his eyes, inhaled loudly to compose himself. "Then you shouldn't have. And then what? Let you continue checking out other men. So what? There's no harm in that. Just because I'm looking at them doesn't mean that I'm going to go to them." Marcus gave me a really look and stomped towards the female models who were giggling as he approached. He joked about something and they all started laughing while I stared at them with my mouth hanging open. He looked at me through the corner of his eye and smirked. I huffed angrily and walked away from the shoot. I strode to our room and closed the door with a loud thud. Removing my trench coat, I jumped onto the bed and draped the sheets over me angrily. I took in a deep breath to calm myself. Before my eyelids fluttered shut, I heard the door open and close. The bed dipped, and someone wrapped an arm around my waist, snuggling closer to me. Marcus nuzzled his nose in my hair and inhaled my scent while running his hand along my hips up and down. I didn't turn as I already knew whom this familiar touch belonged to. "I'm sorry. Let's not fight, please." He mumbled into my hair and kissed my earlobe. He slid his hand under my blouse and caressed the bare skin of my stomach, making small circles with his thumb. I shuddered at his touch and leaned my head back onto his chest, enjoying his warmth. He then gave me another small kiss on my cheek. Before he could do anything else, I slowly turned and wrapped my arm around his torso, burying my head in his chest.